how McLaren can win a championship and defy all odds to win the championship in 2024. The last time McLaren won the championship was in 2008. They could have won in 2007. How can they do same in 2024? The last time they won a drivers' championship was in 2008 with Lewis Hamilton. They could have won in 2007. That's the drivers' championship, but Lewis Hamilton, as a rookie, then was only able to miss out on few points, and he won it in 2008, and that was the last time they've won. And winning the constructors' championship, the last time McLaren had won was in 1998, and before that time it was 1989, 90, and 91. And that was with 18 Senna. Those were beautiful times for them that they did magic, and I believe McLaren can still rekindle their light because they were able to do that from the middle of the season in 2023, and they did a great job, and they were able to recover from 6th position to come 4th in the championship. And I believe if they've started that from the beginning of the season, they could have ended up challenging Red Bull or coming 2nd, probably, or coming 3rd in the championship. So how did McLaren perform in 2023? From 2022, McLaren had been a little bit poor, and all the blame was churned or directed towards Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo really messed up because the McLaren was not his type of car. It doesn't suit his driving style, and he had to take a whole lot of big shunts from that because he moved to a big team, and there are big responsibilities for you moving to a big team in which he was unable to cope with the big team. But Lando Norris drove beautifully in 2022, but still the car was not the right car for them to win championship. The car was just in its own worst shadows. So how can they turn their fortunes around? In 2023, they came up with another car which was even way worse than the 2022 car. From beginning of the season, they were nowhere to be found. They were lost. The drivers struggled, the team struggled, and at first they were thinking it was the Mercedes engine that they had behind their car, but Mercedes gave them confidence. Yo, McLaren, I think from 2022 we've told you guys have a wrong design direction, like we had also. That is Mercedes telling McLaren that they had a design paralysis, which really affected them even in 2023. And only Aston Martin was able to pick up from their change, their B specification car, or their change in 2022, in which brought them huge success in the first part of 2023. Now, McLaren saw that and was like, oh yeah, the engine is fine, but they had a design flaw when they saw Aston Martin doing great jobs, and the Mercedes team that sold the engine for them lagging behind. So at that point, they knew they had a problem. They started redesigning a car to focus on the middle of the season to bring better updates to make that car faster, in which they did. And the car was relatively faster when they came up with a big chunk of upgrades on the McLaren. They have a big chunk of upgrades on the McLaren. The McLaren was driving faster, was driving very close to the Red Bull, but was still about 7/10 away from the Red Bull in real sense. On some races, the McLaren was able to give Red Bull a run for their money, but those runs were in the first 10 laps of races. Aside from the first 10 laps of the races, they will be nowhere to be found. Now, how did McLaren get to that position? McLaren were able to look at their flaws, the side pods, which is the main chunk of the aerodynamics of the car. The flaw is the basis of the aerodynamics in F1 car, especially in this ground effect car. If the flaw can give you the right downforce you need, get the right side pod, get the right rear wings, beam wings, and you're good to go. Your front wings, you need to work on it, but with those one, majorly, you are off it. That is how Williams were able to get the right direction to give other teams a huge chunk of run for their money. So with McLaren looking into all those things, they were able to get a better car in the middle of the season with those updates. Now, what do they need to do in 2024? Remember, in 2023, they also struggled with brakes. Now, bringing some upgrades to correct that brake overheating and braking effect, they were able to do the job fine, but they need to do more on the brakes first. Get it sorted out. Now, look at the real design they've brought and upgrade or tune up the design of the side pod and the floor of the car to make the car faster, better, and more aerodynamic or aerodynamic efficient. Now, they need to look at the rear of the car. They also need to change the suspension profile of the McLaren, especially the rear suspension profile. They need to really work on the rear suspension profile of the McLaren to give it a more bitey, feisty, and race aggressive style. Now, on their beam wing, I believe they need to change their beam wing relative to their rear wings. Doing this will make the car more balanced, especially on corners and when braking. So it won't have this juddering effect or triggering effect when the car is slowing down. So when they have all these combinations and giving their drivers more confidence in the car, I think McLaren will do well this season, because to be a very sweet battle, if you're having a 5-6 ways horse battle, yeah, to be a very, very interesting thing. With McLaren having more investment coming in and looking at their own aerodynamics testing center, unlike the one they were borrowing from Toyota, I believe, in Germany. If they have their own in the UK, they'll be able to test their car more and get more results out to drive the car forward, especially beyond 2024. Now, challenging for championship, they have two great drivers in Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. Now, with these two drivers be able to cope with the heat like they struggled this season. Now, the team also need to look at how the driving styles of these drivers and build the car to suit the two drivers' driving style. And also, will the team be able to control one driver over the other if they have a better chance of winning the championship, which might mean winning the drivers' championship or the constructors' championship? How will they cope? Will they trade one for the other? Will they trade the drivers' championship for the constructors' championship, or try to work hand in hand to win both championships? It's left for McLaren to deal with that because they have two solid, talented drivers that can deliver the honey and milk for them. Milking those drivers to make them do the best they can is left with McLaren to deliver a job in 2024. I believe with all these things coming together and their drivers and the team cohesion, they should be able to deliver a perfect car in 2024. And watch out for McLaren because they're going to do greater things in 2024 and make the championship more stiffer. And that's all for today. I love you guys. Bye. Cheers.